We are evolved, we have been evolved over a long period of time to need to eat meat and to want to eat meat and to be evolved to eat meat. As Darwinian conditions relax in the wake of the Industrial Revolution, then of course you're going to get people who are just by genetic chance and also simply because of the correlation, as the child mortality rate collapses from 40% to 1%, all of those children who would have died, who would never have passed on their genes, some of them passing on their genes, and they're going to be the children with the bad immune systems who would have died under conditions where there was no medicine, but spiteful mutations of the body correlate with spiteful mutations of the mind, because 88% of the genome is the mind, as we've discussed before. People that have physical mutations will have mental mutations, and so consequently you get these mutants who advocate maladaptive things which would have been unhealthy under Darwinian conditions, and one of those things would have been vegetarianism and veganism. They then reach positions of power, positions of authority, not least because the heritability of socioeconomic status across numerous generations in England has been 70%, meaning that they are the descendants of the people who were in positions of authority at the time of the Industrial Revolution, and those people, the Darwinian conditions were less severe on them, so they went into higher mutational load earlier. So they end up in these positions of power, telling people that they should be vegetarian, telling people that they should be vegan, and then those who, via social epistasis, those who even do not carry the mutant genes but are high in openness, let's say, or moderately high in mental instability, are induced into doing this maladaptive thing, and it spreads throughout the society. That's the first thing that's going on. The second thing that's going on is just something that's ancient and can be traced back throughout the history of Europe, and this is the constant need to attain status, particularly if you are of middling status in the society, to attain status via virtue signalling. If you're at the top, you don't really need to virtue signal that badly. You've got pretty much everything you want, so you can kind of do what you want, really. You're immune from these things. If you're at the bottom, then you're going to be relatively low in IQ, so you won't really understand the benefits of virtue signalling. You're going to be, because you will have been under Darwinian conditions for the most time, perhaps there'll be the fewest mutants among you anyway, so you'll be the most kind of natural and normal in your instincts in these various ways. But you'll be the least inclined to look for status and all this kind of thing. But if you're in the middle, how could you attain status without money? You do it through virtue, through stressing your virtue. In times of past, in the Victorian times, you'd stress your sexual constancy, your religious morals, the church ladies, and so on. And of course, these people, these multiculturalists, are the new church ladies. And veganism and vegetarianism, particularly when they are evangelical and they involve people turning up and campaigning against barbecues and whatever else, are simply examples of the new church ladies, the new moral system. And it is a moral system, of course, which wouldn't have helped them under conditions of Darwinian selection, because it is not associated with belief in God and collective worship of moral God, which is what we were evolved to do. It is a moral system that is negatively associated with having children. Those that have children tend to be those who are believing in God and collectively worshipping a moral God. It is the cry of the mutant. That is what vegetarianism and particularly veganism are. They are just the new cry of the mutant, and they will try and push us, like they did with smoking or whatever else, into cutting down our meat consumption. Look for ways to have less meat in the diet, and it becomes part of this broader multicultural discourse which says you should put the interests of other extended genotypes before your own. Oh, there's not enough meat in the world, we have to cut down on meat consumption so others can have it. No, we need to follow. If we want to survive, we need to follow what we have done under conditions of Darwinian selection. We need to eat meat. We need to eat more meat. We need to find out ways of getting more meat in our diet.